Morning all, and welcome to another video from me, Richard Vobes. So before I start, I just want to remind people about the Green Cheat. It's a book. You can get that from the Red Rose UK, the White Rose, I beg your pardon, the Red Rose, something completely different. Don't get confused by the two. Yes, this is a rather good book. It says on the back here, do you sometimes catch yourself questioning the climate change narrative? Yes, I do actually, funny you should say that. Well, you have a good reason to, and you're not alone. The Green Cheat is a collection of essays written by scientists and ordinary people who have discovered that the climate change narrative is unscientific, propagandistic, and fraudulent. Oh, there's a claim, isn't it? The book is produced with common sense, words of wisdom, and scientific facts. Everything you need to know to expose the fraud. The Green Cheat available from the White Rose. Don't go to the Red Rose. I think that's just a pub down the road. Anyway, I said I would mention that. I haven't had a chance to read it myself as yet because it was only sent to me the other day. And I have been reading this book, which was also sent to me the other day. Sinister Skies. Those sinister skies. They're out there, you know. Now, this is a book. It says every day, large-scale geoengineering and chemtrails on the cover. And I want to read you a little bit from the back here. It says, what was unthinkable until recently is now increasingly in the news. Geoengineering. You've heard that term, of course, on this channel many times. For instance, we hear about billionaires like Bill Gates advocating for projects that would dim the sun in response to climate change. Additionally, universities are conducting more and more research into large-scale interventions in nature, purportedly to reduce CO2 emissions and combat global warming. Ideas such as placing mirrors in space, fertilizing oceans, whitening clouds, and dispersing chemicals into the stratosphere are no longer seen as far-fetched. They're fast becoming potential global-scale solutions to save humanity. And by golly, humanity needs saving, doesn't it? Anyway, I've been reading this. It's absolutely fascinating. It talks about, whether contrails exist, whether chemtrails exist, and what geoengineering is about. And I think what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's pretty clear to me it's happening. You only have to look up. And I know there is a product that comes out at Christmas and all year round. It's all year round, but there's one product that they've sort of taken over with Santa Claus or Father Christmas, and they have a train and there's this. I don't want to mention the product because I don't want to give them any advertising, but they're a big fizzy drink, sort of brown, murky, syrupy, fizzy drink that may or may not be good for you. Who knows? Anyway, they drip their advertising all the time, don't they? And you think to yourself, I know that product. I know it. I don't need to be reminded of it. But that is the point. It's a drip, drip message. It's a drip, drip go. And you see it and you go, oh, yes, I better, excuse me. You rush off, don't you? You rush off and you think, I better have a glug of that. And you go down to the local newsagent or wherever it is, and hopefully not the supermarket. And you buy this thing and you're like that. And, you just put 16 tons of sugar into your body and there you are, comatose for the rest of the afternoon, apparently. Anyway, the point is they continue to advertise. They drip this message in. Drip, 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 drip. Now, I know when I used to do some corporate videos back in the day, I would do this, some corporate videos for testimonials for people who advertised on radio. And they said exactly the same. These were companies who would advertise on local radio, when local radio was worth advertising on, of course, and they would say things like, the reason we put our adverts on the radio is to drip that message. It's that continual drip, that subconscious dripping of the message. And that's what they do to us. Now, why am I mentioning that in the same vein as chemtrails? Because I think this is what we should be doing. We should continue to drip out the message that there is something wrong with the skies, that they are spraying them, that they are pouring aluminium, barium, and all sorts of other things, arsenic and polymers, plastic, tiny nanoparticles, and all sorts of other things into the sky. We see it. I mean, it is fairly now obvious it's going on, and we know that there is weather modification going on. It's pretty damn obvious. But still, people are walking about as if they're in a dreamland, they're not really awake, they don't know what's going on. And the point here is and we've seen it recently, that they're blocking out the sun so that crops can't grow. They're manipulating the weather so that it rains, and they want to flood places like, I don't know, the Somerset. They want to flood the Somerset levels. They want to flood and make crops ungrow. And this will, of course, affect the food. Well, we all have one thing in common, don't we? We may disagree on so many different things, and quite right too. We should disagree. We should have different opinions. But one thing that we do have in common that we can both share is that we need to eat. We need to eat something. Whether you want to eat fast food crap and, visit the sort of pharmaceuticals every 20 minutes and stick white pills down you, that's up to you. That's fine. Or whether you want to eat, as healthy organic food as you possibly can and avoid going to the GP or having any sort of surgery and this, that and the other for things that have accrued in your lifetime from bad eating. Again, that's up to you. Those decisions should be yours. Course, but we all eat. We all need somebody somewhere, some poor little farmer going, oh, hello there, I'm growing food, I am. We need them to be able to grow the food. That's what we do need. And if they're spraying the skies and dropping poisons on it so the food won't grow, or contaminating the soil, which they are, I think there's enough conclusive evidence that that's going on from talking to farmers and other people and reading reports and what have you. And we can see how dim the skies is. I mean, where I live down on the south coast of the good old England, it is very clear that the skies. So I think what we need to do is to have a sort of sky report every day. Now, I'm not saying, what's on Sky TV every day. It's entirely up to you whether you want to watch mainstream media and all those sort of nonsense. But we should perhaps call it out. Call it out. Oh, yeah, another day of grey skies. Another day in which we can't see the blue. Another day we can't see the sun. Is that normal? Is that normal? We should keep records. We should keep those records every day. And also maybe send letters to the MPs. Maybe send letters to the Prime Minister. Maybe send letters to the King and just saying, oh, by the way, just to let you know, from my little sunny spot in Norfolk, or my little sunny spot in Hertfordshire, or my little, little house here up in Glasgow, or here am I in Belfast, wherever you happen to be, or here down in jolly old Cornwall, just to let you know, it's another grey sky. They've been out. Here's a picture of the chemtrails today. Here's a picture of the planes spewing out poisonous gases into the atmosphere. Just to let you know, because we know what you're doing. And I feel that we should be sending those missives regularly now. We should be doing that on a daily basis to say, look, we know what you're doing. You can't hide it. We're not dim. We're not thick. You think we are. We're not. We know what you're doing. And so drip that message to them. And also at the same time, as wherever on social media, left, right and centre, we should be doing that as often as we can so that the rest of the public are beginning to go, oh, because it's the drip message that finally gets into it. It's the same thing when they tell us lies. They tell us, oh, we landed on the moon and all this sort of nonsense. And they continually tell you the same lie. If you tell a big lie long enough, people believe it. Same with the old smoking. Oh, yes, smoking a pipe. Oh, it's terrible. That tobacco, it's got nicotine in it, and nicotine's addictive. They told us that big lie, did they not? That nicotine was addictive. They didn't tell us that the stuff they put in the cigarettes was addictive. No, they told us that nicotine in tobacco was addictive, and but they were quite happy to take the tax from us for a long, long time, weren't they? Until they decided, oh, hang on a minute, nicotine has it blocks the spike protein thing from a certain medical intervention. Oh, we better get people off smoking, hadn't we? Because obviously we want them to as quickly as possible. So, so drip message is what we're saying. Now, I had an email from somebody else who said, Richard, do you think they're spraying the skies? Have they turned all the... Have you noticed they've turned all the webcams off in London so that you can't now check to see whether there is any blockages in the road at any particular place? Just assume, of course, that there are blockages in the road, traffic jams, because that's another thing that's being manipulated. It seems to me that, oh, we've invented cones. Let's put billions of them on the road all over the place. Let's just make sure that going on a road journey in this country is the most boring, difficult thing you could possibly do. Let's just upset the driver so he gets to a point where he says, I'm not going to drive anymore, I'm throwing my car in the bin. Because, that's all part of the plan to get rid of us. And if they can make us decide not to have the cars rather than them try and tell us, again, it's that same old thing. Oh, look, airborne virus. Oh, yes, I must go and inject something into me. Because if they were to, force that on us, hold us down and mandate us, that's wrong. But if they can persuade us to make the decision, so much easier for them, isn't it? So I'm wondering why are all the webcams in London suddenly switched off? And somebody suggested, because they're spraying the skies, the aliens are coming. Okay, so we're getting into the realms of complete and utter fantasy here, and this is where credibility starts to disappear. Really? I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind on everything, and you've got to. And, of course, we're going to see a lot of false flags going on. And maybe there is a false flag about to happen in London any day now because they've switched those things on. Whether it's connected with the spraying of the skies, who knows? All I know is we're not getting enough vitamin D because they're blocking off the sun. We need the vitamin D, so make sure you're taking plenty of good supplements. By the way, Clive de Carle supplements, you can get them from down in the description here. Vitamin D is a very good thing. You may need several doses of that in the day because they are avoiding the sun. That's it. We got to drip this thing about these blooming sinister skies. And by the way, I'll leave a link to this book in the description. And if you want to discuss all of this, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm making it all up, go and discuss it in the Vobes forum. And, we'll sort that out for you. You can have a good old moan, groan and grumble, complain, as long as you're nice about it. Let's just be nice with one another. We've been in the old world where people have been negative and, hideous and horrible and nasty and sticks and stones and all that sort of rubbish. We can have a dispute. We can have a good old-fashioned argument in the old-fashioned way of not being cross and using emotions and swear words and those sort of things and calling each other name. But let's, have a debate. Have a nice debate. That's what we want. Anyway, there we are. That's it. Thank you very much. And I will see you next time.